And welcome to Tales from the Dark Side, the special Mando recaps we've been doing. Hey, a big shout out to Matt over there from Absolute Geek for coming up with this wonderful piece of artwork. Hey, Solo, you want to be in the Mandalorian outfit? I think we got you there. I think this is going to be our pitch over to Lucasfilms and everybody at Disney. It might work. As usual, you guys know we got the usual cast. We got my man, the co-pilot, Solo Wookie. Solo, say hi.
What's happening, everybody?
From Comic Book Women, Jen. Oh, and Comic Aficionado. Check that out. She's got some good stuff there. And Undefeated Champ. If you guys aren't watching the IG, you know she's undefeated. So there we go. And straight out of the 501st, Leaky Trooper. What's going on, Leaky? Excellent. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping real quickly, I guess we got to do. Hey, Kev. I need to do something for Marco Jr. Just this right here, okay? This. We also do have a new program coming out. It's going to be called Tales from the Dark Side Shorts. He created this for it. This has something to do with it. Yeah, when you watch it, they're little 15-minute clips that we do. We talk about comic books or whatever the topics are. This one is a Boba Fett covers for Dark Horse under $5 that we find. Either way, we'll put that out there soon. I am all over the place today, so this is going to be great. Bird City Comics is our sponsor. Thank you, birdcitycomics.com. Hey, guys, if you have a chance, go check it out. I know I've got a lot of good feedback already from what they have out there. I've looked at it. I shop there. Go check them out, birdcitycomics.com. If you feel like buying something, cool. If you could use the creator code DARKSHDE, we would really appreciate it. If not, just check them out. Give them a like. Give them some love. It's Laura over there and Anthony. We all know them, their family. So that's good. All right. Hey, I don't even know where to start with this. First off, should we start for those that follow the IG, and yes, we were trolling IMDb. We've told you now for a while, if you watch our show, that IMDb is the new Wikipedia. And apparently it is, because if you looked at what the caption and the picture on our IG and what we've been saying, and then all of a sudden this might have showed up as the thumbnail for episode 2 hours before episode 2 dropped. I'm not saying we had anything to do with that. I'm just saying, So make sure you're double checking those IMDb thumbnails. We're probably not going to be able to do anything fun like that for a while. I think we're going to be under the radar. But hey, we appreciate you guys watching our stuff. Whoever's doing that for us, like, keep it up. You're doing good. Keep copping. Okay, let's talk about this episode. It was a filler episode, I guess. Right? Like, that's what it was. It was advancing the storyline. And, we're going to give you the rankings. We're going to give you our 1 to 5 Mandalorian helmet rankings later on. There's a lot of stuff in here. I think as people absorbed it, they felt better about the episode, I guess. I liked it from the get. I watched it at 3 a.m. and then I watched it again. Felt just as good the next morning as I did the night before. I think there's some cool things in there. Don't give us the rankings, but Jen, what did you think? Did you like it?
Yes, I really, really liked it.
Solo, give it to us. Yes, no? I know you didn't. I know you're going to say no.
It was good. It was entertaining.
Leaky?
I liked it. It felt more like an episode of Clone Wars than anything.
Yeah,
but I liked
you know what? It really did. And I checked out the Lobricks. Lobricks is doing these little minis before we get to our reviews. It's pretty funny. Go check them out down in the section we have there. One thing that I thought was really cool when I first started off, like, this is, speaking of like trolling things, it's the deep cuts are kind of like a troll in itself, right? Like, they knew they needed a story advancing filler episode, and they're like, yeah, not only are we going to do that, but we're going to just keep including things from one of our last story filler episodes, right? Like, we had what's his name, the droid, they used him. This was a big part of it. They talked about how Mandalorian at the end, when he had the conversations with the rebellion X-Wings, how he got out of it. It was because he gave up the award for them. They mentioned him blowing up this guy pretty much. Like, I mean, dude, they kept on just trolling back to like, hey, listen, we have to advance the story somehow. I know you all want all the action-packed elements and all these other Easter eggs, but they were trolling themselves in good humor. And I think, some people are going to bring up that too. Leaky, do you want to talk about who kind of helped write and direct this episode?
Yeah, I mean, well, I knew that they wanted to kind of refresh the directing pool, and they used Peyton Reed, who, for those of you who don't know, he directed Ant-Man, both Ant-Man. So, you know, and I thought he injected a little more humor into this one than was in previous ones. And to some, not me, I guess it was a little disturbing. I thought it was awesome.
Hey, Jen, should we get into yeah, Jen has a very interesting thing. Apparently she's also a mathematician, so she started counting things. Jen, would you like to talk about what you were counting?
Well, when I watched it the first time, I was like, by the end of the episode, I was like, wait a minute, how many eggs did the child eat? So when I watched it again, I'm like, okay, he ate the 3 eggs that we saw on screen. I think a lot more though, right? Especially when he was under that one sheet. And then he ate 1 spider egg. So it's 4 eggs in this episode. He was like chowing down.
Yeah, so that is part of, like, if you look at our thumbnail when it says Luke was right, I think he was. That's a reference to when he's on Dagobah and Yoda's trying to feed him that soup, the swamp.
Yeah.
It's just like you're right, dude. Yoda, apparently the whole species just eats a bunch of just disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, Luke. I know I always call you whiny, the most whiny character in it. I have to apologize, man. I'm a big enough man. I'm gonna take it back. You were right, dude. They just eat some disgusting stuff, man. Like, that's just straight up gross. This little monster, just like the little baby monster, just eats everything every once in a while. And like you see Mando at one point just like kind of give up, right? Like he's like, stop putting stuff in your mouth. Like,
my
seriously.
son saw a meme because obviously the spider egg cavern was kind of a throwback to Alien. There was a meme online where the alien crew shows up in the facehugger cave and all of the things are open and gone because Baby Yoda ate them all.
Nice.
That was the one thing Solo Wookiee kept text yelling, facehuggers, facehuggers, the whole time I was watching. Facehuggers. Speaking of that, though, like, that is kind of a throwback there, but this creature actually too has a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit deeper of a cut. As we know, they like to give you a little bit of the sci-fi from like the 90 movies and 80 movies, but they also like to do a little bit more. And
arachnophobia.
There was a little bit of arachnophobia. Well, and they showed up. I mean, they showed up originally in that Dagobah scene too with the swamp thing. Like, they had told them there was a whole bigger scene they were supposed to do, but like Luke has a little incident with them, and it was one of those what's his name?
Aren't they on Rebels too?
Yeah, and
Are the ice spiders same thing as white spiders?
Wait a minute. That's yeah.
Did you guys notice there's a theme? The creature they fight in each episode so far started with a K. Crate dragon. Those spiders are called Kraton or something like that. So,
isn't the one on the Rebels the ones that Kanan possesses? That's a little bit different of a species, right?
Is it? I wondered. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if they were the same or if it was just a little bit of creative writing. Like, I don't know. It was weird, but they reminded me a lot of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
spidery.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, you know, they went back, they did a bunch of the like fill-in stuff. They hit the spaceport again. They now are throwing in these things from like the original trilogy once again, and they're advancing the story in a decent way. They make some funny jokes. Look, I'm a big fan of Kim's Convenience. If you guys haven't watched those seasons on Netflix, so to throw an Opa from Kim's Convenience, the dad that runs the store, I lost it. I just started laughing right away. I was like, oh, that's so great. I expected him to say some other stuff. And apparently he puts on a complete accent. I didn't know that for Kim's Convenience, because that's not how he talked in that show. Or maybe this is the accent. Either way, but isn't he a relative of yours, Leaky? He's one of your guys, isn't he?
Yeah, he's part of the 501st. And another thing is, and he makes his own costumes. He's in Canada. And as you guys know, that Filoni loves to mine character actors. Obviously last season, Clancy Brown. This year, this guy has been a character actor, you know, going back into the 90s in B movies and stuff. So it was very, very cool to see him, and definitely represented the 501st.
That's cool.
That is cool. One more thing about eating stuff, just a little shout out if you guys haven't known it. They sent out a celebration notification. They finally filled up the store. So everybody who's been holding off and waiting to eat something completely disgusting, you can get your very own Mandalorian plush mudhorn egg. It's only $30.
Suka.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess at this point, the stuff that they're coming out with is so ridiculous that I'm just like, I actually might buy that. I don't even know.
It's kind of cool. I can't lie.
It's got to come with some Jawas, though. You know, there is a thing about when people eat stuff, it's got to drip all over their face. You know, Baby Yoda, the Jawas.
Yeah, so far, it definitely has been messy.
Yeah. I think we got to talk a little bit, but Jen brought it up in the pre, and I think we should rewind it back a little bit because we had a moment of silence earlier. Jen, what was it for?
R.I.P. the speeder bike.
Yeah. Speeder bike from season 1 went down. Hey, listen, by the way, that character that they have there is not a Jawa, just so you know. It's not a Jawa. But if you watch The Force Awakens or any of the little side bit things you can do, you can find out what type of character that is. I don't think it's the same guy, obviously, because he had a great fall. That was great, dude.
Oh, that was fantastic.
I did not know that. Like, we knew that their jetpacks were awesome, but the fact that he could control it like to that extent, I was not aware of that until that moment.
That was really cool because I thought he was going to shoot. Did everybody else feel like he was going to shoot him in the back? Yeah, I was like, wait.
No, I knew he was going to do something, but I didn't think he was going to shoot him in the back. I knew he was tricking him. He didn't care. He was just like, how do I get out of this? Okay, let's make a deal. Here you go. And once he gave him the jetpack, I was like, oh, dude.
And that little dude had no choice because he knew whatever he chose, the Mandalorian was going to kill him. So he's like, well, I'm going to get the jetpack and I can fly out of here.
Yeah. I think, was the guy's name Tito or whatever? Tudo? What was it?
Tito. T-E-E-D-O.
So whatever that species is, he's part of that species. Yeah, that was funny. Like, I thought that was a great start off. I think it was really cool for them to show that. Like, hey, listen, they're still being haunted. Like, look, in the other ones, it's Tatooine and you got to worry about the Tusken Raiders. But, like, it's a big desert, bro. Like, they're not the only people out there. And, like, to see, like, bounty hunters and such like that or whatever, I mean, just people out there doing their thing and going out there and trying to hunt them was pretty cool. Like I said, you can't just say, oh, yeah, you got to go find more Mandalorians. Okay, there you found some, right? Like, you have to advance the storyline somehow or another. And I thought that was kind of like a cool way to do it, where you introduce these little small things. And yeah, like at one point, like as a dad, I'm like about to smack the child's hand. Like, dude, stop putting that in your mouth. Like, you feel like the water bath, right? You're just at one point, you're just like, come on, man. Like, please, wait, one more, but like, stop eating them. Just, would you stop?
I thought it was funny how Yoda at first, when he put his hand up against the tank and the eggs kind of swam over to him, I thought it was going to be like this deep, meaningful connection he had. And then when he pulls the tarp back and he's munching on one, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. That's just.
Well, and everyone in my household too, we all saw it kind of different at different times. And we all thought the same thing, is that, oh, he's trying to protect them. Like he's, going to regurgitate them later and be like, hey, look, I saved 5, or, I'm holding them in my stomach because in case something happens, at least we have these that are safe because this is the last of the race and yada yada. And it just,
he already has
some. He's just eating them, man. He's just shoving them down. I'm like, all right, here we go.
But Wookie, he already has some frogs down there that needed company. So
he's got, and then he put a spider thingy on top of it.
Oh yeah.
He's just go ahead, Jen.
So did him eating the one spider egg, did that wake them all up, or what was that?
Yeah, it was like when he cracked, it was like the thing of the cracking of the open up. It's a take to what they were saying earlier with the aliens, a combination of the aliens.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
To get a sense of
I want to know how you have that many spiders and that many spider eggs in that cavern and not a single spider web, but yet it took them 2 seconds to cover the entire back half of the ship full of spider webs.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, and where did they go?
I'm just a little curious.
Like, did you notice, like, that thing was full of, oh, wow, we're really nitpicking. It was like the whole cabin area was full. And then when we went back down, he shot like 5 of them. And it was like,
I wonder if when the ships landed, they just like scattered, like knowing like, oh, that's it. Let's just get out of here. That's why
I think we're digging a little bit too deep into like something that's not supposed to be like that.
He did melt quite a few with his flamethrower while he was
He did
closing
a
the
couple.
door. So
yeah. So that was fun. I mean, look, that's what I think. Like, the more we talk about this episode, I think the more it grows on people. Like, you know, it's kind of like the Bill Burke episode, right? Like that episode, you're like, oh, Sons of Anarchy, Bill Burke. You know, like it was a pretty good episode. I was always thinking, like, when are they going to bring him back? Because at the end of that episode, like they like kind of say they'll be back. And is that the end of them now? I don't know, but they pretty much reference the prison. I think you could see it again. Like, you never know where the guy with the credits was, right? Like the rich guy, the blue character with the gills things, like that, he could be up on there and they have to go run into him again. That could cause some conflict, which would be nice. Hey, look, it's good. And then I guess like one of the final scenes, because, you know, when you, speaking of the water thing, the one we didn't show, you know, like we did this thing, right? Because it was funny troll, but like this one right here is what we didn't show. And I pulled this out of the trailer. And if you look right in front of Mando, you know, it's the wife and the husband. We suppose it is. So we definitely think that's probably, if not, you know, that's coming. Obviously, it's coming in an episode. Are they going to take a break? I don't think so. I think they're going to do 3 like this, and then they'll go flashback to wherever he needs to go after that. Look, man, I thought it was good. I liked it. I know, like,
now,
like
if you go back and watch the trailer that first came out, when the first one that dropped, and everyone was like, "Oh, you know, what's this?" We have seen about 75% of the trailer because I went back and watched it.
You're right.
So we only have about 5 clips left in that trailer.
Yep.
And with the next episode, partially that picture that you just showed, that's one of them that I think we'll end up seeing on the next show.
And then they got to do the prison thing.
So we're really whittling down that trailer of what they've shown us, and
they're holding the best for last.
Just kind of a fun curiosity for everybody. I encourage you to go watch that trailer again, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, now we have a little more to the story, and then when you watch the trailer, it's a little bit different.
Right, the trailer I think is gonna get us through 4 to 5. I think that's it. So we're gonna get our last 3, which is kind of how we've kind of been calling it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, sure. I think we're gonna be done with that because we've kind of been throwing some, you know, we've kind of been.
It's just kind of fun to go back and see for a reference and a reference point, like what I saw and thought then versus what I know and have seen now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool.
So it's definitely cool. In the comments, and it went back to, we never let Jen finish the mathematician thing.
I didn't count the
number of eggs.
Yeah, I didn't count the eggs, but by the end, like, there weren't that many.
Right.
And then when he looked over at her, and she's kind of was like, but she saved him. But I think that's more for Mando's like benefit.
It looked like when she was in the pool, there were tons of eggs. But then whenever you saw the canister, it looked like there were hardly any in there.
Yeah. But
so you're gulping them down.
I like the hugging the canister tighter. But then I also love how the child was just kind of turned and was like, I got one more. Oops, I think I froze.
Okay. Yeah. No, you didn't freeze, but that would have been a funny freeze. I do think it's, but I think there's a miscalculation in the eggs too, because he's under the tarp gulping them down. And then all of a sudden she's in the warm water pool, which was kind of weird. Anyway, I'm not trying to explain that, but somehow she found warm water, I guess. And then there's 20 of them in there. And it looked like there's only 5 left in the canister while he was, look, man, I'm not trying to.
But she never addressed the missing eggs, really. She never really,
I think she kind of did, though. I think when she was in I think that was kind of the whole threatening droid thing. I don't care, Mando, we're going to make you do this and everything else. I think she was kind of vaguely going and by the way, I know that little green thing over there. She said, there's the extinction thing and and maybe we should do an after hours review, because then we start talking about how how amphibious eggs and everything else happens, and how crazy what he could really be eating is, and but listen, I think that's for a different show, and maybe Bill Nye the Science Guy on to explain that. But what do we got here in the comments? I'm trying to read some of these through real quickly because I think there's some good stuff in there. But yeah, the cave-in did happen, but like after the cave-in, they still got to the Razor Crest. Then the whole cannon filled up. Speaking of that, so there's bunk beds in the Razor Crest. Is that what's going on there? And how did Yoda get top?
In the storage unit with the little hammock?
Yeah. Did you notice that? He gets top and
yeah. It didn't work though, because when he came out, the baby was gone. So it's like, obviously he didn't wake up.
I'm just thinking like, and I'm going to use some childish humor here. Like, do you really want to, like, he's eating a bunch of eggs, and, spiders, like, I'm not sure you want to give that guy top bunk, bro. Like, just say not such a good idea. But then again, you never take off your mask, so maybe there's like a ventilator or something like that.
I think he's been eating worse for a long time. So
I think he kind of put him up there so that it was harder for him to escape and like go create mischief, and he can keep an eye on him a little better.
Remember last year he had him in a closet the whole time. That's kind of where he hung out.
That's the same place. Yeah, it is the same thing.
If we look at episode 2, he, Yoda bounces around fighting Dooku like he's super ninja. So I got to go with it's probably not going to hold the child very well to put him up like that either.
Hey, there's one thing Sticksboy mentioned that goes back to what you said, Wookie, about the spiders being the same telekinetic spiders from Rebels.
They are.
He said the spiders were telekinetically attached. So when Yoda was, baby Yoda was cracking it open, the other spiders probably were like, hey.
Yeah, but weren't they telekinetically connected because Kanan did that to slow them down? Wasn't that what happened in Rebels? Now I'm going to go watch that for the 18th time.
And they what's his name? Doromu? The big tree living Jedi dude, the Force guy on that planet. He kind of helps placate and guide and tie everything together on that planet. So I think that was part of it with the spiders, quote unquote, on that.
Right. Well, it was like all living things are connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been the midichlorians. Sorry.
I think somebody got our show confused with some other show. You should probably go back and
what, Super Mars?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think you confused our show with somebody else. That's never something. Actually, we're probably the ones that have been saying good.
Not until probably the end.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit glance, which we might be wrong on that. Hey, look, man, we're not trying to predict shows. But no, that's not something we kind of whatever. Anyways, no, I thought it was good. Bendu. Yeah, he's saying Bendu guy. I was sorry, I wasn't even listening because I was so confused by that comment that I got lost. You know me, I should probably not. Plus, we did me and Solo over on the Modern Playbook last night, which is I can't do that anymore. So we got into polishing crate eggs at one point, like if it actually was like, because in the game, so like, okay, so last time we talked about the review, we talked about the cannon crate dragon, how it's a smaller dragon. In the game, they show the blow up. Okay, also in the game, you could take the egg if you play the Raven character can be a boy or a girl, but like you take the Raven character and you can build your own lightsabers, right? So like, but it's not Raven's lightsaber. The lightsaber, that lightsaber you built out of the crate, you could either take the egg, you could build another lightsaber, you could sell it, or I think.
Wait a minute, are you saying the egg or the pearls?
The pearl, the crate pearl.
Yeah, the pearl. You could do that. So we got into that and like got into that whole mess because you could do that because like Raven, everybody knows. Well, Raven's lightsaber is the one that was I think green and then it turned blue and then they turned it to purple, and that's not the same thing as the game. It was kind of like a thing you could, it's just like it wasn't meant to be canon. So then I think some people got that confused because they were either reading IMDb or Wikipedia again, and I think Wikipedia said it was like his lightsaber, which it in the game it's anybody's technically lightsaber that can build it, not technically his. That's not really like a thing. He's the only. The game's the only place it kind of ever happens is where they like polish it and whatever. Anyways, deep holes we went down on that one. Oh, hey, that's cool. Look it. There you go. So, yeah, that's what we got from that. We will get into our rankings, I guess, unless we had more. Should I go back?
I liked when the mom brought up his honor, and how the child like looked at Mando, because like through Mando's actions, he's kind of been training and teaching the child. Granted, not about the whole egg thing, but about like the way of being. So
yeah. Go ahead.
I thought that was very poignant. I was like, I like that happened, because it kind of just reaffirmed that like Mando, and he kind of was like, fine, like okay, I'll go fix the ship.
But did you see it earlier when they were like dropping the Tito character out of the sky, and like the child was just like looks up to him and like, what are you gonna do about that? How about he's like, all right, I'll buy, and then just buy. Like you're right. Jen, you're 100% right. That placate of like, okay, I just can't be like some bounty hunter dude. I actually have to be like a role model is kind of cool. And it's played out a couple times in there, which I really, really like. So that's cool. Oh, congratulations, by the way, everybody. Round of applause for Jen. She finally finished off Fallen Order. So we're going to get into Fallen Order now in one of these shows coming up. Oh, we also have Paul is promised us, our editors have promised us one thing real quickly. They have promised that if Leaky Trooper is willing to help them, and I think Leaky says he will, that they can get the Christmas special with Paul W. From the Tales from the Flip Side. We did a special with Paul W. Tales from the Flip Side. If Leaky can help edit it real quickly, we will have that out this week before the Lego special comes out. It was fun. It was me and Solo Wookie hanging out with Paul W. and doing a little fun. So hopefully that's great. Yes, we will be done. All right, let's give it our ranking. So here we go. Once again, our rankings are based off of storytelling, how visually pleasing it was, the Easter egg / callbacks, how it fits into the Star Wars universe, and if it gave you that nostalgic Star Wars feeling. We will start off with, right next to me, Jen. Jen, out of the 5 rankings, how many helmets are you giving it?
5.
You gave it 5? Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Like,
hey,
like I know how people kept saying it was a filler episode, but I felt like if you just left off from the first episode to the 3rd episode, there'd still be stuff that was missing, and like it fulfilled a lot of things, and like the character, and 5, yeah.
Good. Hey, go. It's your ranking. Go ahead. Next is Solo.
I'll go 3.
Yeah, that's probably where I put it. Like after talking to you, I figured you were probably a 3 helmet type of guy.
Yeah, there was too many things that were so easy to pick apart. He went from this galactic, super space pilot into oops, I crash landed, just buffoonery, and then the whole ship gets damaged, not when it crash lands, but when it falls through the ice, it does like 90% of the damage, and then the whole cave is empty of spider webs, but then they're all in the back of the ship, and then it just, there was too many things. I was like, I get it, it's filler, whatever, but come on, man, you guys are better than this. And I would like to see more content. I get it, you got to have a story filler carrier, but when you're only giving us 8 episodes, dude, pack a punch, man. All 8 got to count.
Oh, I'm gonna give you this because look, I mean, hey, listen, but it's okay. You're allowed to have opinions. I get it. Yeah, I understand. I'm just laughing because Solo was hitting me up in the text and going like, dude, seriously with this episode? And I was like, oh, good. He's not going to give this one a good rating, which is fine. I mean, it's fine. Like, I get it. But, like, it's one of the things we say, and kind of going back to the guys over here where, who was it, Suppa Mars, where they were asking about the, like, once again, we'll explain. If you get all that stuff in one episode, like, what else is there to watch? That's not 8 episodes. You have to have 8 episodes. You have to have story building. You're going to have these ones. And at least, like, do some callbacks that are pretty cool and some funny stuff, like guys flat falling out of the sky off a jetpack, and like show us something new. Like, yeah, I mean that. Go ahead, Leaky. I'm sorry, we're supposed to be giving reviews, and I'm critiquing his critique. So go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna kind of split the difference between Jen and Solo Wookie. I'm gonna give it a 4 helmets, and I think the episode in its own merits. And I'm a huge fan. I saw Kev's Collectible say it wasn't directed by Jon Favreau. I am a huge Peyton Reed fan. I love the humor. I thought what they did with Baby Yoda was great. I like the X-Wing fighter, but I am in the camp of man, you have 8 episodes, right? Like if this was Clone Wars and I knew I was getting 14, 15 episodes, you could afford an episode like this, right? And I get it. You know, these are big budget. So I was a little bit like, I wanted more forward momentum in this episode that I didn't get. And in the grand scheme of storytelling, I thought this was an awesome standalone story, except I'm totally with Wookiee. When his ship fell through the ice, I was like, oh, MacGuffin time. But other than that, man, I love the frog lady. The everything from beginning to end was like, it reminded me of one of my favorite episodes of Clone Wars, but I just wanted more. I wanted more because there's not a ton of episodes, and it's just being selfish, honestly.
What about her with the leap run too? Doing the like crazy.
Oh, that was fantastic. When she went to the frog, where she turned, because she's a frog, right?
I think she's a lizard. She looks more like a gecko than she does anything.
I don't know. So I am going to maybe surprise people. I'm not going to give it a 5. I really am going to give it probably a 4.5. Not probably. I'm going to give it a 4.5. And why I'm going to give it a 4.5 isn't because it didn't move the story. I actually thought it was a great way to explain, like, because that was one of the questions I had. How is he going to find? You can't just walk in the street and be like, I need to find more Mandalorian. You please explain to us how you're going to do it. And they did that. Like, that's okay. Some of that lineage there, I thought he was trying to be a little bit too funny with when he was in like the Mos Eisley thing. Like, I get it. Like, and I like the whole scene, but you took it to the cantina. Okay, I get all the call, but like some of the smart remarks and some of the like, oh, I've known her forever, but I haven't. It didn't play 100% right. And then also too, like, nitpicking stuff. But yeah, all of a sudden you've only got 5 eggs in the casket, and then you're in a water pond, and you've got 35. I mean, are you producing? Maybe she gave more out, but then, you know, just small stuff that was kind of, and even like the cannon thing where they started talking about shooting them. Like, I get it. It was a good shot versus a bad shot because of the bike troopers that punched Yoda or Baby Yoda in the face. Like, I get that type of stuff, but like, they could have cleaned it up just a bit.
Like the X-Wing fighters just leaving them, just like,
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Like, look, if Mr. Kim's going to do anything, I'm going to love it because I love Mr. Kim. So like, and I knew he was a Star Wars junkie anyways. So that was really, I probably would have been at 4 because they put him in and did a lot of good stuff with him. They got the extra half a helmet on that. Also too, there's a couple other things that I'm not going to get into with it because I don't want people then to just take it and run with it and nitpick it and take it the wrong way. So, but yeah, I gave it 4.5. I liked it. I watched it 3 times and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it again. And I think if you ask Solo, I was one of the early defenders on this episode saying like, no, it's actually pretty good, man. Like, it's like, I get it. And all he kept saying to me was face huggers. Yeah, face huggers. But like, it's not something like they've done the story. They've done the what was the one movie where they're on the alien planet with all space troopers or whatever that movie was?
Oh,
they did
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. They did the Tremors thing already. They did the Godzilla thing already. They've done all these cool things. And like, that's kind of part of it too, right? Like, if you're not going to give us if you're not going to give us the characters that people are waiting for, which they did. They gave us Boba Fett in the background, like we said, they're, like what we thought they were going to do. They did. They gave him on the closing scene. If we're not going to get characters taking over the TV show, which I'm saying they shouldn't because it is the Mandalorian show. It's about Mando. Then yes, give us these little tidbits because now you can still open up the flashbacks. Like, so, okay, we've played our like sci-fi thing. We get the theme. We're going to keep doing these little sci-fi throwbacks. We've already set that into place. Now let's start advancing the story even more. And
so, Marco, I have a question around the advancing the story part because this is probably my biggest critique of the episode was maybe I missed something, but it felt like they didn't advance the story. This was like a side mission, right? Well, like he didn't learn anything about the Mandalorians. He didn't learn anything about the advancement of the arc. It was like a side adventure, which I'm cool. I love side adventures, but there was no story advancement in this episode.
Go ahead, Jen. You can tackle it.
Okay, so the story advancement was him finding more Mandalorians. It was him coming back to the cantina and her being like, hey, I have a passenger who knows of this. And so that's like, so without this episode being in the 8, we would never get that, right? So like, it's really important. And then the fact that he's building a bond with this person or lizard lady is important too, because I think language-wise, it's going to come back up again. Because if we have seen in season 1 with the Tusken Raiders, Sand People, when he first meets them, he's a hard time like understanding them, and usually when he meets them again, he's much more better at speaking their language. So
Jen,
I know people.
Do you believe that it wasn't just a ruse? Like I got the feeling she'd say anything to get her eggs to that planet, right? It wasn't a ruse. She did know that there were Mandalorians.
Her husband does, and that
her husband does.
Yeah, so the husband mentioned to her about it, so she doesn't know where they are. It's the husband is the key, and also the husband needs to fertilize the eggs. So it's kind of like, and plus that water planet with the thing. I'm pretty sure it's the same dock that we see the figure. Yeah. So like it's gonna. So without this episode, I don't want to see it's filler because
Sasha Banks. You can see who the actress is. Sasha Banks. It's the one where you see Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. So like it's I don't consider it filler. Like I'm really enjoying the unfurling, right? So I think everyone wants like, but it's not gonna be that. Like Mandalorian season 1 was not. It was the unfurling of the universe and us finding out more things. I think we just need to like relax. Breathe it in. Even like the pacing, I feel like a lot of our shows today are boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It's like, no. It's like, enjoy what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like, take it all in.
I definitely think that's a wholehearted truth, too. And if you ask me down the road, when we find out what the advancements were in this that we don't know, for instance, it had dawned on me also, now the X-Wings know his numbers. They know his ship. They know who he is. I totally think we're going to see that down the road. I think that was a build up in this one for later on down the road.
Well,
so
also
at this point, I have to say it was kind of a filler, but 3 or 4 down the road, when I find out, they filled it in because of this, I'm guessing and hoping, fingers crossed, that it's a lot less filler episode than story builder.
Well, after hearing Jen, I do feel a bit like a hypocrite because I was just up to this point I kept saying, I love the subtlety. I love the subtlety and the slow burn. And then after this episode, I'm like, there's only 6 episodes left.
I will say this though, it does clarify something because in that first, 2 things. One of the texts back earlier was like, do you remember season 1? There was 3 filler episodes. There was like story there was I broke it down, and when you went through the 8, it worked out I think like 3 and 2, like between filler episodes, like big callback stuff that you got to see, like the Darksaber, but there was also a callback to Rebels, a whole thing that could have been in the 50-50 mark. But if you look at it, there was in the Bill Burr episode, Mando got away, and that was a gap. Like there was people probably asking, because I did personally, like, why didn't they attack him? Why did they just let him go? And they explained that now because they had seen him help the guy out. They had figured it out. And now that kind of gives, like, that's what you're saying. So like down the road, now we know, okay, maybe they will hunt him a little bit, but that's why the resistance isn't on top of him at all points trying to hunt him down, which then gives him we'll see what happens with other planets where he's going to go. But like, it'll give him a little bit of street cred and he can advance that way. So that's kind of cool. And I think you're right. I think it just helps out. And I think Stick Boy's got it on. Everybody's good in the chat again today, man. I love these chats. These guys like Kev and Stick Boy and everybody's really, really got it going on. I will say this, Kev, you're right. The pearl it's like an actual pearl. That's what the theory behind it was like, in a clam or something. It's like the acid building up with like the remnants or whatever and forming into a pearl. But in the video game, maybe we should just do a 5-minute. Maybe we'll do a short on that. Maybe we'll do a short on some video game stuff.
I think what Sticks Boy put about a Crossroads episode, because I truly, even though I gave it a 4, I felt like that. I felt like it was a crossroads, right? And I didn't really put the 2 and 2 together that it wasn't a ruse until you just said that about the husband. So I totally agree with that statement.
So that's what I was going to hit up. So these are the 2 things. Think about this. If you have an episode where you have to have the advancement of him looking for other people, and I was laughing because this just reminded me of like a Mel Brooks, or like, I mean, it's kind of funny, like bring out your Mandalorians, like the death cart coming out with bring out your dead. But if you just have that's the end of the episode, right? Like, what can you do? 15, 20 minutes. I'd rather have the 40 to 50 minute episodes for one. Number 2, that if like they're if she is trying to get to him, she's trying to find passage in this weird thing. He might have tried to contact the Bounty Hunter Guild. And there was that thing where Mando says, like, I'm not a transport. Like, so that could honestly be him trying to find a transport and him going like, hey, look, I've tried everybody. I've even tried the Bounty Hunter Guild here, or I've even tried the Mandalorians who are supposed to be part of bounty hunters, you know, and they won't even transport. You have to find transport to come here so we can do the saving thing, which also, by the way, is a whole thing to Zeb. I mean, they do that before anyways in Rebels with the, we're not going to go down 80,000.
Oh, we talk about the Dave Filoni being a fighter pilot. I was so happy.
Again, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's kind of like the kickback to it too. Like, that's cool. I mean, I like it. I like that they keep using him. I like that they put him in his own
I love
stuff.
it because he hated it so much. He did not want to do it. Favreau made him do it. And now he did it again. So I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't know that. That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you're gonna be creating it, you might as well be your own character. I guess Wolf, which wasn't Wolf one of the clones.
I think that's like the homage to it, right? Because it was in his Clone Wars.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's cool. So that's what we got. We're gonna do that. We're gonna drop. Hopefully, we're gonna drop the holiday stuff. We've got a lot of stuff backlogged. We're gonna go back. I know we've been doing a lot of shows lately. This one will stay live. I think we're gonna do a little bit the pre-record stuff coming up here because of the holidays and everything that's going on. And we have a go ahead.
Real quick for Kev about the Mando cockpit. I thought he just used parts of the ship to like block, because there was only 2 holes that happened in the cockpit. I thought he used metal. That's why he's like
he did.
He
welded metal over it.
Because you see him welding for like 1 second. Yeah. What else? Do we have any other good questions in here? We had some good questions today, anyways.
I prefer to call it Mando magic.
Nice. And now that I think about it, I wonder if I'm gonna have to watch it again. But the glass canister, you know, when there's like metal and glass can give you the weird illusion of like it can hide eggs behind there. Now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try to count them and like.
Crazy. You don't need to be counting eggs.
Because in the last picture you showed on the dock, it looked almost empty. So I'm like,
yeah,
it did.
Like,
it did.
I think that's how it's gonna go.
We need a jelly bean in the jar contest.
And it's going to be hard because I tried several times, like you did, to count or get a guesstimation at least, and they don't really give you a good, clear, full tank picture of everything. Like it's not going to be easy.
When I saw the bathtub of eggs and whatever else was going on in that thing, I gave up on that nonsense. Counting.
Yeah, that's about where I lost it too. I was like,
nope. Hey, real quickly, don't. And I kind of caught in it because I was doing the same thing. And like, remember to enjoy the TV show for what it's worth. If you want to go back and count eggs, do that on the 4th or 5th viewing. Like
that's what I did on the second time. Because the first time I kept seeing him like pop them, and I'm like, man, I feel like he like ate like 7 of them. Like when I watch it again, I'm gonna.
I thought it was like cooking rotini, where there's always some rotini on the top and there's a bunch way down at the bottom. You know.
Stick Boy, I'm just gonna say this: if you do watch all of our stuff, you're part of the Star Wars DarkSide Kliq, so you know what I do the giggly thing every once in a while. That comes from one of the Legos things. I know it looks weird, but these Lego stuff that they have done are enjoyable, and there's always something absolutely there. In one of the Lego Star Wars thing, there's a Darth Maul Death Star, like his head. Like, it's just fun. Like, don't take it too seriously. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. It's kind of, we've been pushing the, apparently, if you looked at what was going on Wednesday, people are really starting to catch on to the Vader Castle series now. So it's good. I mean, it's cool that people are getting involved and reading some of this stuff and liking some of the same stuff, because you don't have to like everything we like, man, for real. I mean, you can like Star Wars and not like the stuff we like. But it's pretty fun now when people want to talk to you. I mean, I went to a small con today and somebody's like, so did you get through the new Vader? Like, nobody said that in 2 years. I mean, nobody has asked me if I read the new Vader Castle in 2 years. So I got to talk a little bit about that, which is fun. Stay safe out there.
I haven't read it or picked it up yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's good. It's kind of funny. It's around the same lines. They do the same. Maybe we'll review that later too.
So Kev said about okay, you guys told me to be weary of like watching other Star Wars shows because like by accident things get into your consciousness, right? So I watched it the first time, enjoyed it. I watched it the second time. Den of Nerds said that with Tatooine and him losing the speeder bike and it slowing it down, right? So when we last saw Boba Fett, he's like, watching from afar. But when the Mandalorian loses his speeder bike, it slows down his like rate of progress. And then when he picks up the lizard lady, he can't travel at light speeds. So again, it's making him slower. So people can start tracking him, be it Boba Fett or be it who. I took it as like anybody, right? Anyone who's trying to follow him has now an easier time like tracking him. I'm like, that's interesting. And then when I watched it the second time, I'm like, oh, like I wonder if it's like is that on purpose that they're slowing him down? So people can.
That sure seems like counting eggs to me. I think it's because once again, if you can use hyperspeed and stuff, all of a sudden you shoot through like, oh, hey, I know where Mandalorians are. Oh, hey, here are all the Mandalorians.
No, but if you look at the Western trope, Jen's right. Like in the Searchers, there's always the trope of if you slow down the Western hero, later it comes back to bite him. It's always like, if only we would have done this like one day sooner.
He cleared the Dune Sea in like 2 minutes. So if you're walking, and that's not saying that they're not there, you're not wandering just because you saw a guy with 2 sons. Hey, homie Boba Fett, he just chilling out there with no dewbacks or like bantas or a speeder bike of his own. He's not just sitting on the top of some sand.
That's true. I mean, Boba Fett.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
He has his own spiritual journey going on out there. But
yeah.
I'm talking more in terms of the delay. Like he couldn't go. He had to take sublight speed. He took extra time. I think that's going to come back later and bite him.
Well, that's one thing that like someone else mentioned too, that like that's why he's going to need the ship, the transport ship later, the cargo ship, the boat, because he's gonna limp to the next planet, and then it's gonna take a while
to figure something out. Either how to fix the Razor Crest or how to find something new.
That's what's gonna happen.
I also noticed in watching it, no more rocket on the back of Boba Fett's backpack when he has the armor. In one of the clips, if you look at it, when he sets Boba Fett's armor down on the jetpack, the rocket is gone.
Well, who knows if you can replace those? Because that's the one they bushed off.
You can get more. Yeah, you can get more.
Did the Iron Man on the...
But once again, I mean, that you got to think, too, that's Durasteel, too. So who knows what they're going to do with that. If they're going to still call it Durasteel, you never know if they're going to change. Never know if they're going to make it a little funky and say, like, oh, it was only 30% Durasteel and we replaced it with Vascar. They could do that, too. Easily. We are really trying to dig in to find extra tidbits into this episode, which means it was probably a good episode, but there probably wasn't. Look, I think honestly, we saw this in if it is doing what it's doing, which it seems like it is, it's replaying a lot of last season's episodes. Do remember there was a point where he had to get the Glorbs to go someplace, and like he had the speeder bike that he originally picked up. You had to kind of get rid of that. So like, there's a couple times where he does have to leave the Razor Crest behind, which is fine because you don't want him warping and shooting everywhere.
True.
Is somebody going to catch up to him? Yeah, dude, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. Like it's Lone Wolf and Cub, bro.
Yes. Bulba's got to get his armor back eventually, so a little slowdown ain't going to hurt nobody.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, is that going to be the season? I mean, we don't know if that's going to be this season, but I think.
Wait, so who confirmed? So, okay, I'm still new to this. Like, if Deadlight confirms it, then it's like legit. No.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I because we've seen that comment earlier, which we think is probably very interesting that somebody, after we just talked about how we had trolled whoever put we had made them put the thing in IMDb. I don't think we're going to. Yeah, I think we should probably, if we want to talk about that, we can talk about that some other time.
Okay.
But just double check the sources. Like, go back to
I think we should do it just to see how much stuff we can
only be 45 minutes for anyway. No. I mean,
so who's reliable? Because like when things pop off, like obviously if it's like from Instagram and some like rando person, you're like, okay, well that could be whatever. But like, what is considered like the high? You're like, oh, that's probably going to happen then.
So like, I mean, there's some people get stuff right either way, but like you have to use critical thinking skills, right? And you have to use, you have to check it. Like if you go back to where the original rumor came from, and somebody's saying that rumor's verified by an affiliate of that rumor mill, that's not how that works. And that's where we've busted a lot of those things down. It's because that's typically what's been happening. Typically, like the rumor mill person will put it under one brand or one portion, and then they will this has been verified by website X, by blog B. The blog is on website X. Like that's not a verification. That's not like, but look, it's all fun anyways because we get to talk about it, we get to joke about it, and hey, we're not 100% right because we don't know it. We're just going like, oh, we know that. And again, obviously we were right with the IMDb thing. So
watch that trailer. It's easier now to go back and watch that trailer and go, okay, I have a pretty good solid guess of myself by myself of what we're going to see and how the rest of that is going to, play out.
Gotcha.
I like this. That's a good one. Grizzle's Geek.
Yeah, Grizz is great, man.
What's going on?
I love Grizz.
Hey, speaking of that, Solo Loki, he's finally bringing the rest of the crew over to the channel. And I think Grizzle's kind of one of the new guys we're going to be able to see in the chat from now on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Absolute Geek. I'm a big fan of all you guys. Everything that Solo, you've done, everything that Kyle, Matt, and everybody over there has done. Like, you guys just do a good job. It's a fun show. I know you guys got some stuff in the works, so make sure you keep that up.
And now Grizzled Geek reigns king on Fridays. Grizzled
That's
Geek
what I heard.
on Fridays. Catch that, guys. They're great over there, man. They do Ruby. They do reviews of Ruby. I had no idea what that was about. And then, they do the video stuff. It's great, man. Go check out Grizz.
They do Ruby
costumes?
Yeah, no, the Ruby, the cartoon. So they make little videos, music videos, and those guys, all the crew over there, Grizzled Geek, sit down and they watch them and do like a little review and chat about them and stuff. They're real fun.
That's really cool. So there you go. He is right. Once again, we might have to send him out a present or something because that's it. Only one who is the most reliable thing is the show. Like, it's fun to guess around and say stuff, but that's the truth. That they're the most reliable thing.
Yeah,
they've done a great job. I think they've done a great job this year with with hiding everything, which is fun because it keeps it interactive and everything like that. Man, Solo, you didn't hit the bell. We're at 52 already, guys. We have to go. This show's gonna get canceled if we hit the hour mark. One more thing, I gotta give it to him one more time. I gotta thank Marco Jr. Bubba, you did this. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. He just wanted me to show you some of his toys that he. So you've made it, buddy. Here you go. This is your little 2 minutes of fame.
Those are
Good
awesome.
job. I'm very proud of you.
There, that's I like
He
that
built
one.
it
That's my
himself.
favorite.
He's under the age of 6. Built that one himself. So
Nice.
hey, hope you enjoyed it, buddy. All right. See you guys later. Oh, hey, take Solo, do the thing.
All right, everybody. Please go over, force push that like, force push that subscribe, saber smash that bell so you can see the greatest looking faces this side of the galaxy, and may the force be with you always.
Check Jen out on Tuesday. See our stuff on Wednesday. We'll see y'all later. Fat Club.
Don't talk about Fat Club.
We got to end the broadcast. Oops.